Following our workshop, the 4 deans of engineering from FIU, Notre Dame, Cal State, LA, and UTEP, we issued a call to action. Engineering deans set bold targets for broadening participation in engineering education. And we set the goal as part of the outcome of the workshop to increase the percentage of underrepresented minorities graduating with engineering degrees from the current 12.4% that ASEE shows to at least 20% by 2025. We did come up with an action plan. And of course, we all recognize there is no single or simple silver bullet. But we had 5 ideas that I would share with you today. One is to start early, enforce often. We think that the work starts very early in K to 5. We need to think about, we always talk about a STEM. We need to think about the 2 middle letters, T and E, and use the T and E to demystify the science and math and to be able to engage the students early on and integrate engineering into the K-12 education, engage them in an engineering-centric teach or mentor for America to bring folks, retired engineers to school through Engineering Peace Corps in K-12, and through a variety of means, empower the teachers to be able to early on incorporate engineering and in fact tell the students that this is engineering, as we discussed in one of the sessions yesterday, that sometimes they actually see it, but they don't know it is engineering. They associate it with science, and then they go and don't find it in science, and they get disappointed. And speaking of disappointment, we also talked about encouraging students to come to engineering only to find out the way we teach engineering or still teach engineering, that it is not exactly what they bargained for. And unfortunately, we still teach engineering, and perhaps there may be other fields that I'm not aware of, as a conveyor belt education system. We move the students from one course to another. We like to give them all their vaccinations of math early on as a what we call a just in case, because eventually you're going to need it. Even if you don't care to know it now, you're eventually going to need it. And that's why we lose quite a few of our students in the what I call math tunnel before they see the light. And that's why one of the things that we talked about as part of this workshop was that we really need to reform our engineering education. And of course, the trend setting has to be done perhaps nationally at some of the major institutions, but there would be drastic impact on what all of us would have. We need to move towards what we call a just-in-time math to make sure that we have students that are able to appreciate what the math is going to do for them directly in the courses that they will take and with a hands-on. We also focused on experiential and project-based learning. There are quite a bit of examples of it around the country. Success stories, we just need to make sure that those success stories are contagious, and they would be able to move all of us towards adopting them. We think that no matter how you cut it and slice it, at the end of the day, it's going to be about the money, and it's not just about the money for the engineering schools or the community colleges or the school districts. We need to finance the vision to become a reality, and financial aid remains one of the most important component of diversity, and that's why we need to make sure that we have systems in place more than what NACME can do or Great Minds in STEM can do, that would be able to provide the necessary funding for those students that are coming not just from a diverse demographics background, but quite understandably also with limited financial means. And that's why, in fact, I would argue with the statistics that were shown yesterday about how we have so many of our graduates of minorities not pursuing PhD. It is not just because how well they were prepared in their bachelor granting institution. It's because of the fact that they are not able to pursue PhD for financial reasons. And that's why expanding financial aid targeted to engineering majors, it's something that if we think that this is going to be for the benefit of the profession and diversity, again, going back to reframing the question, if you're going to make a case for diversity being the important element of the future of the profession, then we need to think about that and put our money where our mouth is and basically fund the diversity through appropriate means of that. Faculty as role models, we all recognize, and that's why it's so important that it's not just celebrating the diversity of our students, but also replicating it with the diversity of our faculty. And as such, I think it's very important, not just in faculty development and recruitment. We care deeply about how our search and screen committees work as much as the recruiting of the students. And that's why that's important. All of us need to be engaged with that. And as I said at the beginning, empowering the engineering schools at HSI and HBCU institutions would guarantee that we are able to find better ways, better tools that are going to engage minority students, because as I said, we are seeing the demographics of tomorrow. Empowering us would fuel the growth of the engineering profession of tomorrow. So with that, I want to thank you again, and I hope that what we see in this picture would represent what we will see in the future of engineering profession. Thank you.